the Art of Action Figures. We're looking at the Tonsen Art Toys 6A. This is a third-party, unlicensed, unofficial, Figuarts style Dragon Ball figure, which is why he gets a cool moniker, Warped Vengeance Unbound Wrath. To the keen-eyed observer, this is very clearly Dragon Ball Z Future Trunks, specifically as he appears in Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan and Bojack Unbound. Or you might know them as movies 8 and 9 if you're hip with it like that. So excited to have this figure. Future Trunks is my favorite Dragon Ball character. Long hair, tank top, movie 8 and 9 appearance. That's it. That is peak Future Trunks to me. No indication of an official Tamashii SH Figuarts figure of this design. So in the meantime, we've got Tonsen putting out probably a better figure than Tamashii could ever make, to be quite honest, at least with the way things are going now. I already had a pretty good experience with Tonsen's 5A and B, which I'm going to refer you back to if you don't know all the ins and outs of this Trunks body. It's exactly the same body as those figures with some quality improvements, different hair sculpts. He's got the torn jacket and some different accessories. We'll go over everything. If you watch that video and then follow it with this one, it'll tell you everything you need to know about the Tonsen Trunks figures, except for 6B, which I do not have yet. For articulation, I'll refer you back to the 5A and 5B video. It's exactly the same articulation on this version. My particular box did get a little bit crushed. Again, you kind of get what you get with the third-party shipping. Especially if you buy it off of AliExpress. Quite a journey to get to the States. It did come in a shipper box, but it didn't do a whole lot of good. On the front, we see Tonsen Art Toys 6A, picture for reference only, please refer to physical object. Unbound Wrath, Warped Vengeance down the side of the window. Warning, choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3 years or any individuals who have a tendency to place inedible objects in their mouths. And finally, cool graphic figure photography of smirking and looking off to the side face, holding the flower, as well as baby Trunks from present timeline. Can't believe a third party beat Tamashii to this one. Where is Dragon Ball Z Bulma that isn't marooned on planet Namek? But with this figure in hand, maybe that'll inspire a third party to pick up where Tamashii is not paying any attention to right now. That would be pretty sweet. I think there's a lot of cool looks for Bulma, especially the Broly movie, like red turtleneck dress. That one I overlooked when I did my top 10 most wanted Figuarts, but I think that one might be my top, just because it's like a good neutral outfit. It's not a specific arc. On the bottom, just continued art. On the side, close-up of the side eye. On the other side, a little window with the name. Up on the top, little cutout for the window. And around the back, close-up of some flower. And along the bottom, we have the same warning as the front, printed twice for some reason. This one is a regular warning, this one's a warning for ants, and then finally a warning for microbes, which includes this fun phrase about the sharp part of existence. If you're new here, welcome. This is the Art of Action Figures, where we're talking about action figures as art. And if you're not new, welcome back. I have, as per usual, trusty hobby knife here. I have already used it to cut the tape along the right hand side, and I am now very carefully just feeding the blade under the flap, push towards the back of the box, and even with a box as thoroughly hecked as this one, I still try to keep the flap from being creased. Carefully close your hobby knife. Going over the accessories now, we have a base form head, a Super Saiyan head, a total of 7 faces between them, 4 for the base form, 3 for the Super Saiyan form, and they are as follows. For the base form head, we have neutral looking straight ahead, smirking looking to the left, gritting teeth straight ahead, and shouting looking straight ahead. And for the Super Saiyan head, we have neutral looking to the right, gritting teeth looking maybe slightly to the left, and shouting looking straight ahead. We have 6.5 pairs of hands, 2 fists, 2 splayed finger open palm hands, 2 clenched finger open palm hands, 2 sheath gripping hands, 2 sword gripping hands, 2 flat key blast hands, and a single right hand that is holding a purple flower, which, is this a daisy? I don't know exactly. I'm not a flower expert. But like his hair, it is both purple and yellow, which I think is pretty cool. So I really like that accessory. Of course, we can't have sword holding hands without a sword. And two different straps, a shorter one for the tank top and a longer one for when he's wearing the jacket. The torn jacket is removable. And finally, baby Trunks from the present with a total of 2 heads and 2 sets of pre-posed arms. We have a laughing head and a crying head. Those are the accessories that you get with version 6A, but let's do a quick comparison of 6A to 5A and 5B. Here we have all of the face portraits that Tonsen has released with Trunks version 6A at the top, 5A in the middle, and 5B at the bottom. And as you can see, both 5A and 5B include 2 unique faces that are not included with 6A. With the base form heads, the 6A eyebrows and sideburns match pretty much exactly with the 5A faces since they have that similar lavender hair color, whereas 5B has darker purple. The set of expressions is the same. I think the sculpts are the same. The eye prints are a little bit different on some of these. So 6A and 5A's smirking faces are both looking off to his left, whereas 5B's looking straight ahead, maybe a little bit up. With the neutral face, it's 5B's turn to look off to the left. 5A looking straight ahead, maybe a little up. And with 6A here, we have looking slightly more straight ahead. You can see there's less white below the pupil there compared to 5A. The grinning teeth faces follow the same scheme as the neutral ones, with 5B looking up and to the left, 5A looking forward slightly up, and 6A looking straight forward. And finally, the shouting expressions. We have pretty much identical prints for 5A and B, while 6A again is looking more straightforward, less up. And here's a quick look at the 4 faces that are unique to 5A and B that are not included in 6A. You have the laughing base form, crying base form, smirking Super Saiyan, and shocked Super Saiyan face. The good news is all the faces here are compatible with any of the Tonsen Trunks hair, so you can use these unique faces on 6A. Now going over to the Super Saiyan heads, 6A got golden hair color like 5B now, so you can see that reflected in the eyebrows and the sideburns, whereas 5A has more of the pale yellow. Neutral face, looking straight ahead for 5B and off to the right with 6A and 5A. Gritting teeth, straight ahead for 5B, up and to the left for 5A, and then slightly less up and to the left for 6A. And finally, the shouting faces are pretty much the same. There's maybe a little bit bigger pupil on 6A, but it's pretty subtle if there is. The printing or whatever process they are using to produce these faces is just top of its class. Tonsen has really, really nice face expressions, prints, likenesses. And here we have all the special goodies that come with each version of Trunks. At the top for fun, we've got the Figuarts Boy from the Future Trunks, sword, strap, and alternate Super Saiyan bangs. And you can see this version 6A has sheath colors, most similar to Tamashi's, different texture, and then they do not have the little metal studs on the straps. Now moving down, we have 6A, 5A, and 5B. All 3 come with the sword, sheath, and strap with the magnetic connection. 5A and B included alternate bangs, A for the base form, B for the Super Saiyan form, whereas this version 6A includes this little like Nendoroid style baby Trunks figure, which I'm very happy to have. 6A also includes this hand holding a daisy. 5A and 5B have instead these hand in pocket attachments, and unfortunately neither of them really matches the pants on version 6A. 5B is a little too blue, 5A is a little too pale. It's probably the closer of the two, but you'd probably be better off just putting whatever head sculpt you're trying to use on that body that was intended for these pockets. And finally, at the end, 5A and B have the removing jacket alternate forearm accessories. With 6A, we instead have the torn jacket here. It also comes with a second strap for the sword, and I think this one's maybe just a little bit longer or wider mold so that it can fit around the torn jacket. So that's why I've put it over here. It's got some cuts for shoulder articulation. However, they have glued the back flap into the collar instead of how Tamashii did theirs by gluing the back flap onto the back of the figure. I think this is a better way to do it. It ensures you don't get weird gaps under the collar, which is a problem on Tamashi's. It also means you can totally remove it and have just the tank top look underneath. So that's pretty cool. And too big to fit in the lineup here. 5A and 5B also include these really awesome sword swooshing effects. No slash effects with 6A, but it is the same sword sculpt, so you could use the 5A or B accessories if you've got them. Again, 6A shares the same body as 5A and B, so for a breakdown of all the sculpt and details, go check out that review. The one minor sculpt difference is 6A does not have the wristwatch on the left arm, which is correct for this look. Aside from that, the remaining differences are colors. Here's a look at the Super Saiyan heads, just so you can compare the sculpts in color. 6A is pretty close to 5B, but not identical. The pants of 5B, you can see, do have just a little bit more of a bluish gray, which is more similar to Tamashi's actually. Shades of orange, blue, and red on the belt and boots are nearly identical between 5B and 6A. If there is a difference, it's subtle and hard to tell. And the oranges, at least, match pretty closely with Tamashii. But then for the blue, you gotta go back to Tonsen 5A, which of course then has paler colors all around. There's some slight differences in skin tone, but they're very subtle and I don't think you would notice. I think in the review for 5A and B, I commented that the body was a little bit bulky for the manga arc that they were covering with this look, where Trunks goes back to the future and fights the androids. And I mentioned, I think that's because they are planning to reuse the same body for Bojack and Broly movie Trunks, where he is just positively jacked. And as we can see, that is exactly what they've done, and I think it looks awesome. Now, I also think it looks like kind of an appropriate extension of Boy from the Future Trunks going through training in Room of Spirit and Time and coming out and having like Super Saiyan grade 2, grade 3 or whatever under his belt. And if you've never seen those movies, just know the Dragon Ball Z movies aren't plot oriented. The plots are always very basic. Bad guy appears, they fight in a cool location. And it's the locations and the animation that make these Z movies so special, to me at least. And I'd seen the Broly movie a million times, but I'd only seen Bojack maybe 1 or 2 times, and I went back and watched it. Special event tournament has a really cool arena setting. Trunks and Tien go head to head. He's sporting this look, which is awesome. Bojack isn't my favorite villain, but I really like his henchman. The setting is really cool. It's like this old 18th century Europe kind of vibe and looks really nice. And the Broly movie is a fan favorite for a reason. The animation is just top tier. It has some of the best animated transformations. Once you see Trunks with aura so strong he disintegrates his jacket, I think you will probably be as fond of this form as I am at this point. I'm going to go over some poses and accessories for this figure, do some head swaps, but I'm not going to cover the articulation. Again, go check out the 5A and B video. I covered it in detail. The one thing I'll mention about it, though, is in that video, you'll see me having to apply a lot of lubricant to both A and B to get their joints moving the way they're supposed to. And I'm very happy that the 6A version, while maybe a little squeaky in some places where you could potentially lubricate if you really wanted to, you don't necessarily have to get the joints to work. They're all moving as they're supposed to out of the box. It's nothing too extraordinarily scary or tight. So that's awesome. That is a huge win for Tonsen. Their first few figures were a little rough in that department, so I'm really glad to see they're making improvements there. The one place where things went backwards a little bit is the hips are a little bit loose, not anywhere near the first release of Boy from the Future to the point where you can like see them wiggle, but there is just a little bit of like drift in there, which isn't ideal, but it does pretty much exactly hold whatever pose you want, except for like right slightly forward. But even that, you could probably just like push it just a little further and you get it. So very, very minor joint tolerance thing. I think I'm good to go without putting a drop of oil on him. So that's a nice change. Another cool thing about these Tonsen Trunks figures is they made sure that they were completely compatible with the Boy from the Future Trunks, the neck, and the wrists, which cannot be said for every third party. They're not only great figures on their own, but they're also great sort of accessory packs for the Boy from the Future Trunks with the jacket. So if you want his look from the beginning of the Broly movie, for example, you can go for that. And it works out great. Quick balance test here. It's excellent. The figure's really sturdy, and even with that big Super Saiyan hair sculpt, the weight distribution is still really good. And I was able to get him to balance on this front toe only. You can see there's nothing else holding him up. All balanced on this front toe, recreating this awesome slide from the Broly movie. Yeah, this is a really well-engineered, sturdy figure. Here, I'll even move him around a little bit. And there's a good amount of tension, but not too much in the joints. You can see I'm tapping the front foot here, and nothing holding him up behind that. It's funny, with Goku at the helm, people often forget just how much Vegeta rivals him in terms of worst Dragon Ball dad. The Saiyan Prince just can't resist being a bit of a jerk to future Trunks. And there's actually one detail missing from this shot, because Vegeta in the Bojack movie brings Trunks his sword. So I just wanted to demonstrate how the sword attaches, and it's really nice because of this magnet piece on the lower end of the strap. The top of the strap is just a peg, but it's pretty firmly affixed, and the bottom is a magnet. And what's really nice about that is I've got Trunks posed here and I don't want to move him. A problem that I have posing Boy from the Future Trunks is his sword strap disconnects pretty easily, and so I usually try to pose him and then connect his sword. But the problem with that is you've got to be able to get into this area below his left elbow to apply a little pressure to attach the peg. What's really nice about Tonsen's strap here is the magnet on the lower end makes it so easy to connect that once the figure is posed. It doesn't necessarily have a stronger hold than Tamashi's sword, but all you have to do is just line it up and it pretty much connects itself from there. And so that's a really nice improvement. And there we go with that. The scene is complete. Vegeta elbowing Trunks out of the way, probably on one of his "Don't Interrupt My Saiyan Pride" things. And I think this looks great. As for Baby Trunks, it's really nice for what it is. Like I said, it's kind of a Nendoroid style figure. There's no articulation, but the arms are swappable with pre-posed bent arms, and the head is swappable for the crying face. No ball joint at the head, which I was a little bit disappointed by. I think it's all cast in the same skin tone, and then it has the blue diaper, the white shirt, the yellow bib, and the navy blue bat ear beanie all painted over the skin tone, and the little tuft of purple hair sticking out. And all of it looks great. Good scale. His head's not weirdly big. The only thing missing is his mom, because let's face it, as confident as Vegeta looks here, he does not got this. The thumbs up indicates an immediate L, and if the Broly movie taught us anything, it is just how loud a little baby Saiyan can cry. So, third party, Tamashii, whoever, let's get adult Bulma from Dragon Ball Z in any of her Earth civilian outfits into the Figuarts line, and we'll all be one big happy Briefs family. And here's Tonsen Trunks in the Super Saiyan lineup. We've got Super Saiyans of all shapes, sizes, and colors here, and wow, this was a lot of broad shoulders to try to squeeze into one frame. Most of these are either third-party figures or Tamashii figures with third-party heads. Tonsen Trunks is just a little bit shorter than this 3.0 Kong Goku, which is a little bit taller than the official 2.0 Goku body. I usually think of Goku as kind of the tallest of the Saiyans, so I think this works out pretty well. I've also recorded some thoughts on the Beast Deities Vegeta and the OC Toys Vegito head accessory kits. I don't cover everything that comes with these Beast Deities Vegetas or these OC Toys Vegito kits. There's quite a lot, so I mostly stick to what you see here and just talking about overall impressions and things to look out for with either of these kits if you are interested. That video is up at the same time as the Tonsen Trunks review and is exclusive to channel members, which, starting with this Tonsen Trunks review, you can join to get access to any bonus footage that I filmed for a main public video that didn't make the final cut. Maybe it was too much of a detour from the main topic of the video, or wouldn't necessarily be interesting to everybody, but the most diehard action figure nerds like me. I've been trying to think of something to do as a channel membership perk, and thought this was a great way to start getting this additional material out there to people. This has been The Art of Action Figures. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.